Hello folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. It's been a sort of busy couple of days really in the boxing world. We've had Dillian Whyte withdrawing from the Joe Joyce fight, and then we've had the Filip Hrgovic announcement that he's going to be a replacement fighter. And then of course today we had the Turki Al Sheikh and Dana White press conference about their new plans for the world of boxing. And one of these events that had a presser actually yesterday, I think by the time this video goes out, it'll be like almost 2 days old, is the presser for the Fatal Fury City of Wolves card. Now, I'm sure that everybody knows, but this is to be held in New York City. They're going to close off a portion of Times Square. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work, and then I'm not sure how the gate works, anyways, there's lots of things I don't know, and I don't think anybody does know, because when I was watching the presser, the Ring magazine fellow was saying that, this is sort of something in motion, in works. I can imagine that there would be lots of state, city, and federal regulations probably that would have to be complied with, and it seems like a very ambitious project. But anyhow, I'm sure they'll figure it out, and they've got 2 months in which to do it, right? But it's going to be an interesting card. Now, the press conference itself, it wasn't to my taste. But that's because I'm not the demographic that it's appealing to. I mean, it's an American card featuring American fighters, and the trash talking and whatnot kind of left me cold. And that's not because it wasn't sort of, I guess, is there such a thing as quality trash talking? I suppose there is, right? But it wasn't sort of to my taste. It wasn't the kind of thing where I would giggle and laugh at the one-liners. And they were also talking over each other quite a bit. So it was sort of, it worked for the audience that I think it was intended to be geared towards. It didn't quite work for me. But anyhow, that's neither here nor there. I don't really, it's rare for me to say, oh, a press conference was a real humdinger. It's just sort of like, I'm not really into the trash talking kind of stuff. And I think a number of people who subscribe to this channel would probably agree. We would probably much prefer to see the fight itself than the fight being, talked about. But it's a very, very good card, interesting card. The headline is Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. Ryan Garcia 24-1, Rolly Romero 16-2. Ryan Garcia, who I think we would all say is either an exceedingly good actor, possibly Oscar-winning type thespian, or he's just crazy. I'll leave that to you to make a determination on. Very fast hands, lots and lots of skill. He's promised a KO. He's a massive draw for fans. He's one of those boxers whose appeal is even outside of boxing. He's got this enormous social media following. He's exceptionally popular amongst a whole range of demographics. He's the pay-per-view king and whatnot. So he's a real headliner. Even if he doesn't have a title, even if he's not fighting for a title, Ryan Garcia is a name. And he draws far more eyeballs to a fight than many champions do, right? Well, he's fighting Rolly Romero, who's certainly got power. Likely selected, I would think, as this sort of comeback fight, because of course, Ryan has taken some time out after the Devin Haney fight, where he clearly won, but then of course he was on substances he shouldn't have been on, so that was a no contest. I would imagine that Ryan Garcia will knock out Rolly Romero. I would imagine it would be certainly the first half of the fight. Could be one of those things where you absolutely don't want to go and get a cup of tea because it might all be over. The fight that I think could be the best fight, and I think that a lot of people are going to say the same thing, particularly closer to the time, is the Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barboza fight. Lopez is 21-1, Barboza is 32-0. I think it's going to be the most entertaining fight. I say that because Barboza is the in-form fellow, and I think his style doesn't work well for Teofimo Lopez. Teo likes people to come to him and bring it to him, and he's very, very good then. Barboza's going to probably draw him out and make Teo fight a fight that Teo doesn't really want to fight. There's also a concern that Teofimo Lopez might be simply overlooking Barboza, which I think would be a big mistake. It could be a very close fight, and this is, of course, for the WBO World Super Lightweight Championship. Now, Teofimo Lopez is a New York lad, so if it goes to a decision, he's the hometown favourite and all that stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised. I would imagine that Barboza would be the underdog. I mean, it's a little bit too early for predictions, right? There's a lot of water to go under a lot of bridges before we get there. But I would tend to favour Barboza myself. In-form fighter, anyways, I suspect the bookies will have Teofimo Lopez as the favourite, but that might be the underdog pick of the day, What else have I got? Yeah, that's my sort of, quick and dirty kind of notes of that fight. And then Devin Haney, 31-0, he still kept his undefeated record, because remember, even though he was beaten by Ryan Garcia, it was an illegal beating, if that makes sense, He's fighting Jose Ramirez, who's 29-2. Ramirez, he's been around a long time. He's a 2012 Olympian, I think. I should have looked this up. Anyways, I think he's a 2012 Olympian. Been around a long time. I didn't think he looked that good recently. I would imagine that Devin Haney has sort of picked him in the same way that Ryan Garcia has picked Rolly Romero, really. It's a sort of like a comeback fight. I think that's probably the fair words. Now, of course, Devin Haney, he did take a bad beating last time, and one wonders, even though it was against Ryan, who was determined to have had substances in his system that shouldn't be there, will that affect his... We don't know. The thing is, when a fighter's given a beating like that, you just don't know what they're going to be like when their next fight out. I would expect Devin Haney to be certainly he'll be the favourite, and I would expect Devin Haney to win. It's just really how much will the bout, I was going to say the lost, got to get that out of my mind, how much will the bout against Ryan Garcia have affected him mentally? Will he be 100%? Well, he'll be 100% physically, of course. But I would expect Devin Haney to win. But like I say, I think the sleeper fight there would be the Barboza fight. In fact, Barboza can be one of my favourites. Anyways, a good card, very good card. I mean, a lot of big names here. So yeah, there we are. We'll have to see what it's like. We'll do a full review nearer the time. But for the moment, please like, please share, please subscribe before my dogs go crazy and start barking because Mom is coming home. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.